The Minnesota Vikings are headed to London to face the Jets, hoping to come home 5-0, baby.
And the LA Chargers get some much needed rest. I thought an early week bye before was a curse, but for this team, we need it.
Oh, yeah.
And welcome back to another episode of the BuiBros Football Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Quinn Bowie, and I, of course, cheer for Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers. And across from me, my brother Brandon.
And I cheer for Justin Jefferson and the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, yes, yes. Today's episode, little looky-loo ahead at the Week 5 matchup against the Jets with the Vikings. Should be a good one.
Yes. Chargers, like I said before, we get a bye. But if you're with us, thank you so much. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan of the Minnesota Vikings, the LA Chargers, NFL football in general, let's build a community. That's what we want. Chat with us in the comment section. We'll be there. We'll be interactive. But Brandon, if I may, you have a lot to say in this, but the Chargers, quick piece. We got our rest. The injury bug has bitten the Chargers again.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's hurt, and we need that rest. We started off 2-0. We are 2-2. We come back against the Denver Broncos. An opponent, even though is in our division, can be beaten. But we need to go full throttle, and that's what Jim Harbaugh's going to do. I can't wait. Use this bye week to get better, not to rest. Or do both. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh knows. That's all I got to say about it. We're coming out of the bye week strong, but I'm happy to kind of take a seat back as a fan and just enjoy football for this week without any sort of pressure. But this week is about the Minnesota Vikings against the New York Jets in London. Who the hell is the home team in that?
I think we are.
This is the whole thing with these international games.
Yeah.
Like home team, it means nothing. Like we're not the Jaguars. The Jaguars are the only team that can consider London being the home team. So it really is going to be an away game for both teams. But the 4-0 Minnesota Vikings against the garbage New York Jets, led by the previous hopeful Minnesota Vikings legend of all time, Aaron Rodgers. Where do we see this going? Do you have some comments before we get into the quantifying aspect of why the Vikings are going to win this game and improve to 5-0?
Yes. The Minnesota Vikings have one of the better defenses in the league. And the New York Jets just put down 9 points in their last game. They need to work on that. And we have things to clean up on the defense. But I just feel like the defense is going to win this game for us. You know, the offense is going to have to score 14 points, you know what I mean, to win this game. You know, it's going to be like they just lost 10-9. So, I don't know. You never discount an opponent, and this can be a very dangerous football team. But the Vikings are dialed in right now, and I believe that they're going to be lighting it up. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, Brandon, why don't you wave your techie wand there, and we can go into the quantifying. Well, while you're doing that, here we go. You talked about the 10-9 game. That was some of the worst football I've seen in a very long time.
It wasn't good.
No team wanted to win. It was missed field goal after missed field goal after bad offense after bad offense. And so I think you're right. I think your defense is really going to prevail when it comes to this matchup. Aaron Rodgers is him, but the supporting team around him, potentially not the case. Hopefully the weather in London is a little bit better But let's get into this. So, for those of you who haven't joined us, this is kind of how we quantify why the Minnesota Vikings, in this case, or the LA Chargers on another week, could win this game. We're going QB against QB, wide receiver against cornerback, all the way down. You'll see it D line to O line, down at the bottom. And we're going to give an advantage or a disadvantage to each team, and that'll tally a score. After, we'll give our prediction of what our final score will be. Let's go, Brandon. Show us right now Minnesota Vikings quarterback against quarterback.
Yeah. Yes.
Ooh, this is a big one. You have Aaron Rodgers,
Who's a legend?
Jets quarterback Sam Darnold.
Exactly. Yeah. Darnold, I've been very generous with him and his PFF ranking and how he's been playing. When he's been playing great, he has definitely been leading this team. Um, Last week wasn't his best showing, but still got the job done. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 20-28, I think. But Aaron Rodgers has been playing very well. This last game, again, they scored 9 points. Like, how well was your quarterback really doing? But Aaron Rodgers has looked good since his return from injury. Um, and that's good. Good for him. PFF ranks him number 5. Aaron Rodgers has always been dangerous whenever he's played. Right now, I think he's got kind of a swollen knee. He was saying, which isn't, you don't want to see that. You want to beat the best versions of the players. So, but there's not much of an argument right now that I can hold up to say that Darnold is any better than Aaron Rodgers. So I'm going to go with the advantage to the Jets here. I think Aaron Rodgers, that experience, yes, Darnold has been playing very well. But Aaron Rodgers has been in every situation you could ever imagine. And he is still playing football at a high level, which means there's not many quarterbacks better than him. There you go.
I agree with you. You got to give credit where credit is due. And although he is up there in age, he is still performing at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
Okay, there we have it. Why don't you go Vikings wide receivers against the Jets cornerback? Now, we've had some interest. We've had some pretty clear cut matchups here. But
Yes.
if Jets CB is going to shadowing the wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, there is Sauce going to be able to cover JJ or Jets?
Well, Sauce is great. But they also have a second great corner in DJ Reed, who's been playing great this year. So it's hard because this is probably one of the better corner groupings or corner groups that the Vikings are going to play this year. And that's not even. I don't even have to look at the future opponents to know that these guys are just really good. But this is also going to be one of the hardest wide receiver groups, if not the hardest wide receiver group, that their team is going to play this year.
Right.
We have Jefferson, who everybody knows is 1 or 2, and I'm saying 1. But we just had Jordan Addison come back from injury and have a hell of a game, 2 touchdowns last week. He still got it. He's getting open. He's feeling it. Jordan Addison is a stud. And so, maybe it's closer. Maybe it's advantage to Jets, to the Jets, the New York Jets, if Addison isn't in. But he is in. And Justin Jefferson is the best that there is. So they're going to find their way. They're going to make this work. And I'm going with the Vikings. Wide receivers is at an advantage. But all respect, to the Jets. This is closer than any other matchup that we've had this year. Every other matchup, I'm saying, it doesn't even matter who we're playing against. It's Justin Jefferson. He's going to win.
100%.
But this one is tough.
Yeah, but I mean, on top of the top two, like we also have to consider Jalen Naylor and the type of season that he's having.
Yeah.
Stepping up there
Definitely.
for Jordan Addison. This guy, like, you guys produce these wide receiver threes like nobody's business in the last few years with KJ Osborne.
KJ was
Wow,
awesome.
this is absolutely incredible. And they step up to the plate when an injury is there. So, okay. I'm with you. Advantage to the Vikings wide receiver group, 100%. Let's move on to the running backs, Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, and co.
Okay, let's do that. Boom. Aaron Jones, stud. Everybody knows he's a stud. The Jets defense is great. They've been great for the last 2-3 years now, at least, right? Let me see which Williams brother this is. Quincy Williams is their linebacker. Okay, Quinnen Williams. Is their D lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah, how cool is that though? These two brothers playing on the same defense. It's unreal. Anyway, so let's just go through their top 3 here listed on PFF. We got Quincy Williams, who is ranked number 3 of all linebackers, which is great. Jamie Sherwood. And then they got former Viking Chaz Surratt on their team. Chaz Surratt never did too great for us. He had a couple showings, but wasn't the guy. So he's now found a new team, a new home. So that's good for him. This is a tough one. Because they've got the 3rd rank and the 8th rank linebacker, sitting back there. I know their names. I know who these guys are, but Aaron Jones has been playing great.
Aaron Jones right there, 5th ranked. So that's kind of in between that 3rd and 8th.
He's good, man. He's
averaging it out, just using the math and the preference of the Minnesota Vikings.
I think if we're just, we're not analyzing the game, right? We're analyzing the players and the positions. I feel like Aaron Jones is good. And yes, he might be good in reference to the running backs of today, but he's not some unbeatable running back. You know what I mean? He's not generational this season. He's not playing at some crazy level. So I'm going to say that the linebackers are going to have an advantage here. And this is no knock on Aaron Jones. This is strictly because those linebackers are good. The Jets D as a whole is really good.
You know what? I have to say, I appreciate and I respect your objectivity in all this, because Aaron Jones has done a tremendous job this season, and obviously much easier to take the homer pick here. But when you do have a position group like the Jets have in their linebacking core, like, you got to show respect where respect is due.
Yeah.
And hey, where we're at right now, 1 advantage to 2 disadvantages for the Vikings. Hopefully things can turn around. Let's go up to the tight end group against the Jets safety group.
Yeah, so things aren't turning around just yet. As much as we like our backup tight ends, they are backup tight ends. And it's often that you play one or the other. This still could be a starter even when TJ comes back, but TJ's not back. He's not back this week. I don't think they're opening up their practice window yet. So no TJ Hawkinson for this game, and that is unfortunate. Because of that fact, our tight end room is not going to live up to the Jets' safety room, and this is a pretty clear-cut disadvantage for the tight ends.
All right, another disadvantage for the tight ends. Moving on to the offensive line against the Jets' defensive line. Where do you see the advantage lying here? We've already spoken briefly about the offensive line for the Vikings, but elaborate. Are they the ones taking the advantage here?
I do believe they are, especially no Hassan Reddick, who could have been a very key player to this D-line, is not there. But we've got Darisaw and O'Neal both feeling great. Blake Brandle's been playing great himself. Bradbury's been playing serviceable. He's kind of middle of the pack, but he's there. He's not allowing, these huge plays to go through. I didn't really notice too much with Kenny Clark last game. Kind of like we did in week 1 versus the Giants, as we spoke about before, getting blown up in the middle there. And then Ed Ingram, right guard, has been playing all right, I guess. Haven't really noticed him too much, which is a good thing too. But yeah, so I think our O-line is great. Yeah, you have advantage there. Yeah, I like the advantage. So that's what we're sticking with. Boom. Head over to the defense for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes. But wait, Brandon, before we get into the defense, if you're a fan of the Minnesota Vikings or the LA Chargers for the fact, we have those videos as well. NFL in general, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. Let us know in the comments who is the team that you support? Are we speaking the truth when we talk about the Vikings right now, the LA Chargers, or are we not? Like the video, hit the notification bell. It does help us out. Brandon, excuse my interruption. Let's go back to this. Yes, we're switching to the defense. We're going to the cornerback group, which we talked about earlier, was supposed to be this sub-average kind of makeshift secondary group. But Brian Flores has done a tremendous job with those guys. That cornerback group against the Jets wide receiver core led by Garrett Wilson and Mike Williams.
Let's look at it, okay? Let's just take a second here to think about who the cornerbacks of the Minnesota Vikings go against every day in practice. They go against Justin Jefferson. And no disrespect, but he's not Garrett Wilson. You know what I mean? He's not Garrett
no disrespect.
Wilson. So these are pretty middling wide receivers in today's game. Garrett Wilson has had the opportunities to be great, and he's been good. He is the number one receiver there. He is the number one option, and he is a very decent player. I don't think I've noticed him, and I've watched the Jets games, I don't think I've noticed him being spectacular or being great this season. He has been a decent wide receiver. Nothing to write home about, though.
Want to know a stat that totally proves what you're saying?
Okay.
I know fantasy football is not a measure of real football, but in this case, Garrett Wilson has not been a top 30 wide receiver in the 4 weeks
crazy
that we have played. Wow. Yes.
So
that is bonkers.
You shouldn't be playing Garrett Wilson basically the first 4 weeks.
Yes. Yeah. Or you should if you're the other team.
Right.
Revolution.
So yeah, and okay, so Stephon Gilmore I haven't heard him being talked about at all. Nothing's been crazy there. And that's because no one's throwing his way. That's because he's been doing a great job on his receivers. So that's kind of the name of the game, is when you don't hear them talking about a corner, it's because they're doing great and you don't need to, right? He might not be getting all these interceptions and whatever, but he's looking good. I think he's our best corner currently. Byron Murphy Jr. and Shaquille Griffin are the other two that we would talk about, and they are, PFF ranked, not great.
Byron punch you in the mouth, Murphy.
Well,
that
Mr.
guy.
Pick, Shaq Griffin as well, right? Like they've been doing very well. It's kind of like they pass the eye test when you watch them, rather than you look at PFF and whatever. But I honestly, the way that the defense plays with the confusion and how our corners have been playing, I like our corners versus their receivers based on the respective level of play from both sides this season, So I'm going to go corner advantage. I think that's fair.
Corner advantage. All right.
And what's next? Linebackers? Right.
Then we go to the linebacking core. Now, I'm not sure if Ivan Pace Jr. is coming back yet. Right?
I
But
actually
can
don't know
also
that
set
either.
up, you talk about it a little bit. So linebackers against the Jets running back Brees Hall and this Braylon Allen rookie sensation, or like what is going on? That's the matchup that we're talking about now.
Yes, so Brees Hall, I haven't seen too much crazy stuff from him this season either.
He's been a phenomenal receiver, is what I've seen from
Is that
him.
what it is?
Absolutely crazy. This last game, trash game for Brees Hall. Bad weather, and they're playing against this Broncos defense. That's pretty good. And like we talked about, the score 10-9. Not a lot of opportunities in that game.
But the bad weather is supposed to be good for a running back. You know, when you're not trying
That's
to
what I
throw the
thought
ball.
too, but the pieces that I were reading, they kept bringing up the weather, and I was like, you guys are just you must be grasping for something, right? Because I thought it should definitely favor the run game.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but yeah, Braylon Allen, like you mentioned, he's going to be in the game a lot, and he's going to be getting a decent amount of touches. And I know that guy is there's a lot of hype around that guy right now. So, you know, good for him. But we've got Blake Cashman, who has been outstanding this season. And if there is no Ivan Pace, we have Camus, and it's Grugier Hill. It's hard for me to fully, you never hear the full last name. But Camus, he has been, that's just what they call him, he's been doing great. He's had limited time out there. You know, he's just been there to replace Ivan Pace, but he has been playing great in his place. You know, an interception, possibly 2. I have to check that. But he's just been great. Like he's been where he needs to be, and making plays all over the field. So we've been looking good there. I think our linebackers are actually like one of the better parts of our defense. Cashman is just, that guy is all over the place. He's making plays everywhere. Every time there's a tackle, that guy's in on it, it seems. He's just been so good. So, you know, yes, this rookie has been, you know, doing well. But Brees Hall, I haven't noticed anything, you know, game-breaking from that guy, which he's supposed to be like a top 2 running back in the league. You know what I mean? And so not living up to that, in my opinion. But, yeah, I'll go with our linebackers here have the advantage.
That's awesome. Just quickly, yeah, Brees over Bijan. That's all I gotta say. Safety group. Safety group. Oh God, we've already talked about this.
We've talked about these guys. They're so good. Let's just for a second.
So
we don't have to talk about.
Against. Hey, whoa! It's against Tyler Gronklin.
Tyler Gronklin, who
baby Gronk
we are extremely familiar with.
Yes,
because he's a former Vikings tight end, Tyler Gronklin. Yeah, he's great. He's always making plays. He seems like he's always doing good things for the team he's on. I think last game he actually had a really long or a very decent play.
2 games ago.
2 games? Yeah. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter when you got Hall of Famer Harrison Smith sitting back there. Cameron Bynum living in a movie right now. Josh Metellus is great. He's great. These guys, they're great. The safeties have the advantage here for sure. They're winning games for us. They're controlling the defense. They're patching up any holes. They're playing great. So, I like that. Okay, D-line.
Easy, lemon squeezy.
Is this are we talking about the D-line that is helping this team lead the way in sacks? Lead the NFL in sacks this year with 16?
I think we're talking about that D-line.
But they have Elijah Vera Tucker on the O-line, dude. They actually, Tyron Smith, good tackle. Joe Tipman. But then a guy, I will attempt this right now, okay? Olumuyiwa? Fashanu.
Right tackle. 74th out of 77.
Yeah. Doesn't look good. Obviously, he is a rookie. So that's going to be fun to watch our guys go against him. Grenard on the one side, possibly. Whoever. Guys are coming in all sorts. But they're going to be attacking that right tackle. They're going to be blowing that shit up. So, man, I don't want to go too much, right?
No.
Homer picks, but how can I deny this?
Exactly.
But Jihad
Say
Ward.
it.
But Van Ginkel, that guy's so good too. Grenard with 3 sacks a couple weeks ago. Oh, I think he had the sack last week too. No, it was Pat Jones.
Just say it.
Dude, it's Vikings advantage. It's definitely Vikings
advantage. There we have it. Boom.
Okay,
Now
last line.
Go to the kicker.
What did you say? You said their kicker. They did something this past week. When they were kicking field goals. I didn't really understand it because when our guy kicks field goals, they go in every time. 100% of the time they go in. So I didn't really understand what you meant with all these. You said this word, missed kick or something. Anyways, I didn't understand it. So if their kicker's doing something other than making field goals.
Their kicker is Greg Zuerlein.
Greg who? There's only one Greg the leg, and it was Greg Joseph when he was on our team.
No!
Only one Greg the leg.
Zuerlein.
Never heard of that guy.
Greg Zuerlein, gosh. Hopefully it is.
Will Reichard.
It is Greg Zuerlein. Greg the leg.
Perfect on the season.
Greg Zuerlein.
No, this is Will Reichard right here. Perfect on the season.
Boom.
Anyways, Will Reichard, gangster, man. This guy's a gangster.
Yeah.
I'm taking advantage kicker
Vikings. Oh my goodness! Like, I don't want to give. Like, I just want to be. I want to be fair.
Well, this one's fair. Okay, you can maybe argue the D line.
Oh, not that's 2 advantages.
Yeah,
Whoops.
No, get that out of there. Boom. We're winning this game. This one's a better one. Okay, let's think about this. Let's think about the score. Final score prediction. I've been close once.
So while you're doing that, while you think about the final score, so we have it here: 7 advantages to the 3 disadvantages for the Vikings. Brendan, wave your little techie wand there, and let's talk about this. You say the Minnesota Vikings are going 5-0 into the bye. They're going to beat the Jets in London. What is that final score prediction? We've been close in some of these score predictions, but let's hit it here.
Okay.
In London. Hello, I'm
go
from London.
With 24 for the Vikings, because that is a good D. 24 would be great to score against them. But then only 12 points. We're getting up 12 points.
Doubling up.
24 to 12.
24 to 12. That's a good score prediction. Okay. So 4 field goals potentially for the Jets.
1 field goal and 3 touchdowns for the Vikings.
Yeah, 1 field goal, 3 touchdowns. Woo! Okay, there we have it. The road to 5-0 has been presented to us. Brandon, I hope that's true. I get to enjoy football this week. It's a bye week. I'm going to be cheering hard for the Vikings. It's going to be, I think it's 7:30 in the morning that they're going to be playing over here.
Yeah.
Let's go 5-0 into the bye week. Go Vikings, go. And if you are with us, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. If you are a fan of the Vikings or of the Chargers or if NFL and football in general, please subscribe to the channel. It does help us out. Lets us know you love talking about football just as much as Brendan and I do. Hit the like button, notification bell, so you don't miss any of this. Thank you so much. Brendan, send us off.
Skol Bolts.
Skol Bolts.
Skol Bolts.
Skol Bolts.
Skol Bolts. Okay. See you next week, everybody.